My name is Olawunmi Taofeek, Agbaje. God boy.
Okay.
Born in 1956. So by next year now, I'll be 70.
Wow.
So I had my primary education in Lagos Island. They call it Holy Cross. It's one of the more popular primary school. And my secondary school in Ahmadiyya College, Agege, is now Anwaru Islamia Model College in Agege. After that, I worked briefly. In those days, there was opportunity in school certificate. Just walking to a place and we employ you without any results. We call it a wait. So why did I choose architecture? When I was working
from accounting background. From accounting.
No, I was not even in accounting. My boss that time in Flame is a registered accountant.
Wow.
So they just form another parallel accounting organization that is opposing the Korean. They call this in ACAN or something. ICAN. So they form that. So it's encouraging most of you young to register. Those days, you don't need to go to university to be an accountant. They have a lot of international examination that they are doing. And they have a lot of other schools that train them. So you are on training, you get your paper 1, paper. They have some formula. So he was trying to encourage many of us that are good in this account department. I was not interested. But somehow, one architect came into the office, a very young chap, and what attracts many of us to him was his lifestyle, the way he looked, very simple, shirt and trouser, but he was using a car that is totally uncommon at that time. They call it Citron. Have you heard of Citron? Oh, in those days, the Citron is, I think it's from the French or Switzerland. But these are the type of car, when they pack it, it goes down, you won't see the tire.
Wow.
So anytime you start the car,
Bugattis.
Yes.
but it was when you start it, it lifts up first. Before, but we know it's just meant for special people. In those days, even my boss, some of my senior managers, they are using what they call pony, Passat. The majority of my colleagues at that time use cars too. When you start working, even as a clerk, they come and meet you. The B2 was just only 5,000 naira. And you don't need to pay, they will just come and meet you to be able to have it like higher purchase and you start paying that value. So I saw him, he came in, and I asked him, what is this man? He came to collect check. How much? He was collecting 2,500 check, but that 2,500 was something else. This thing was just 96 naira, which was a very tall, big this thing, because like a school holder, you are on 96. Anyway, I asked my boss, what is this man? What is this? And he said, you say, no, it's an architect. What type of service have you done? He started explaining to me that he is designing the housing estate for Flowers. So he's coming to collect their money. He is staging for them. Federal government allocated lands around satellite area when we are going to Dagli and Pressure on those left side. So different companies, Flower Maze, Liver Brothers, that they can build staff housing. So they designed the housing estate. So I said, okay, what are the architects, what do they do? And then I called the man to talk to me. So he started telling me, okay, what did I do in school? Did I do technical? I said, yes, now what is it? So then you have a potential architecture. He explained to me the design. I said, well, we thought engineers do design. He said, no. When architect finishes, so that is when they said that the architect had the leader of the construction team. Everything. That's encouragement. Then say, ask, okay, what am I doing? How am I going to go to school? In those days, there are only 4 universities that offer architecture in Nigeria at that time. And their intake are very small too. We have University of Lagos, University of Ife, Nsukka, and Ahmadu Bello University. 4. Polytechnic is only Yabatech. They do in Yabatech, but it's Polytechnic, they just have it. And they have Polytechnic at that time too, they rated as a technical people. they are supposed to assist in all this. So he advised me that before I can do that, I have to do A level. That's why I resigned, and I decided to go and do A level. So when I did my A level, by the time the result was about to come out, I got an offer to study architecture in Russia.
Wow.
So I just grabbed. So I was rescued because at that time, University of Lagos, when they get students for architecture, some of the intake maybe 60. But out of that 60, University of Lagos do 7 years to do architecture. You have your first degree, and you do MED. MED they call it. But those set, among the 60, if they have 28, 30, that set is very lucky. No, the way it was, the way it was very tough, and everybody know that. Apart from those that they will go back to other professions like quantity surveying, this they read them off. But some of them they spend more years. Instead of 7, if I go and spend 9 years, obviously it was something because I have friends there and I go, students, you have more interested. So I was lucky I got the Russian scholarship, and I was grateful to Almighty God for that because it was study without chance. We have everything. It's a full school. We are not allowed to work. They pay your school for the book, everything. We even have every year when we have a holiday, we collect money from the federal government for your holiday. That time it's 1,000 naira. They are giving you end of the year. You go to a get party. But that 1,000 naira is $1,800.
So that means Nigerian naira had value.
It's normal, of course. That 1,000 naira will give you $1,800. Wow. And for a student
so today now the opposite is the case. Opposite.
Not
it's
opposite.
Even far off because it's now $1 to 1,000 almost 800.
So it was something that that money, apart from that, the whole world too, things were what I cannot finish spending that money. When I was doing my study there, I came home 3 times. Wow. But I have most of my siblings, my senior sister, senior brother, and my junior sister, they live in England. So I'm always shuttling from Russia. They have Europe train as at that time. So most of us that are foreign students, when we get to the school, most of our seniors will be telling you, no, you go and register for international student identity card. Every university in the whole Europe have department for international students. They pay some token. But the advantage of that ID card is that any country, anywhere in the Europe you get to, any university, if I get to France, if I see any university, I just go to their place. If I show them the card, they give me accommodation in very reduced. So we use that one to start traveling. Before I came back home, all the European countries, all. And it's by train. So the train too, you get 1/3 of the common regular price. The students, in abroad time, they are very strong. Most of the government recognize them. Because they can, if they protest, the whole thing will get scattered. And they are current with the politics of the government. They are even in Nigeria at that time too. Students, make a lot of decisions what the government does. So those are all the year of that. So when I finished, I tried to do something in England for about a year, and I discovered that is not where. So I decided to come home. I came back home in '87. But we took a lot of advice. I should not come home. This country is tough. Every period that is so tough time. At that time, the Babangida just took over from Buhari. They were what they call structural adjustment. Things were hard. So I said, no, I'm coming. I was not even imagining that how can I come to this country with my master's degree and I will not get a job. How? So I came home. And luckily, God was so kind to me. I started working the following week.
Wow.
But in the ministry, they call it Directorate of Employment. We have them. Okay. We just created that Directorate of Employment. It's an offshoot of the Ministry of Labor. And I was there. And after about a year, I discovered I was getting frustrated.
Why?
Because the ministry, no, I didn't draw a single line. It's now you use computer. We don't use computer at all. There was nothing like computer. Everything, the perspective
Manual.
we see,
It's long hand.
it's all your hand, everything. And you have to do presentations of drawing all this. So one day when we were in the office, I just saw some construction company. They come and do some construction beside our office. Because at that time, all those Victoria land, if you are used to Victoria land, we call it Victoria landness. They just stopped building when we out with that period. There were a lot of empty land, like empty. So that is where our office they rented. We are not in the general ministry of it. It was a special creation, Directorate of Employment to create employment for youth. And I was employed as a project monitoring officer. So the project aspect was what I was supposed to do. But later I realized that there was no project to
Monitor.
nothing. I was just collecting money. Ministry is we have what they call Esther code. You start traveling. I go to Kaduna today. By next week, every time you are traveling, we have some special money. So I discovered 3-4 months I didn't touch nothing. I didn't touch my salary. But I was very, very frustrated because what I've learned for about 7.5 years, I cannot
Impact it.
So I started telling my boss that I want to leave. Don't worry, but work fair. First of all, get yourself established. If I stay too long here, I might lose my profession. You cannot just be an architect another 2 years, 3 years, you are not. And you are busy, you go around just touring and they are giving you money, you have money here. It can easily be a problem. So I told him I'm leaving. But luckily for me, the company came to do some projects beside our office. And they came because you haven't heard of precast. They will do all the columns, the beams, prefabricated and bring it to site. And I was so attracted to that. So I asked them and I was taking inquiry. Anyway, to make the whole matter short, I went to the office, I was interviewed, I was employed. So I left the place. Because during my courses, I did a special course on precast element.
Okay.
In Russia, and anytime you do any design, you need to write how do you want to build your project. They make a lot of their projects more of a realistic. When you are after your third year, any project you must be doing, let's see, it must be a project that is actual. It's not a
abstract.
It must be actual thing, something they are planning
taking to site and executing.
So that something they are planning to do. So I pick a project. I pick a project in Lagos, an hospital complex, and I did that one because my fiance, my girlfriend to be my wife was a nurse.
Okay.
So I want to know what are they doing
In that place.
So I did the hospital complex in Lagos to be situated around Badagry Yasi because there is a LASU there. So I was thinking that LASU too might have a teaching hospital, which they have now.
LASU come.
Yes. So I did all the design for that. That was my final year project. And it was and with that one you have to write how are you going to build it. It's not just only writing, they attach us, we have attachment to a precast company in Russia. Very big one.
During the course of the final project.
Before everything, because it's part of what you must defend.
Sure.
So during the course, we went there every time. In fact, because I choose my project immediately after my first degree. When I did, the first thing I did after the Russian system at that time, if you want to go after your third year, you can go. We can give you that you have done like a BSc. But majority of us do masters. So that third year we will do is a 4 year. It's a 4 year program. You will get certificate. I did hospital complex that time too, and I repeat hospital complex in my final year.
The master's program.
It's a master program. So for about period that within that was I got attached to I was even a professor in the teaching hospital for about a year.
To also be a co-supervisor on the
He
project.
says, well, no, it's a supervisor, it's a co-supervisor. So for a year. So every time I go, if they are at any department they want me to cover for about a month, and they are doing theater, if they are doing operation, I will go.
Wow.
I will follow him. I'm dressed
Like part of medical
how do you want
team.
to design an hospital if you don't know what they are doing there? It's not it's not about reading. You
Practical.
can read books, but you have to practicalize. What did they do in the theater? Why did they operate? Everything they bring into theater to do operation, they don't take it well through the place they call it dirty corridor. Anything they use will go through. So theater is a system. When the team come in, those things that come into that place, do all those operations will not pass through because those are the clean corridor. If it's not something they will be really asked you to read, it's something you will see. And that is the way Russian work. They know what a lot of European countries tell them a good way, all this thing, but their teaching is super. So I was able to go through all the hospital department, labor ward, outpatient, this, everything. So we did that one, and I got in fact, I was offered to do my PhD.
Wow.
But the condition is that you go back to your country. You will get the government approval to school. The school will offer you, but you will go back to your country to be able to. A lot of my friends did it. So I collected the letter. And I was looking at it that, okay, it's an option. If I don't get any job, I might get something in the university. Because majority of my friends lecture in the university. So if I get to the university, if I get a employment, then after about a year or two, I will ask for to go and do my PhD. But that was a thinking. So when I came home, I got this, the HLP one. I went for the interview. And there were a lot of people there. In those days, when you are going as an architect to do interview, we have what they call portfolio.
Yeah.
These are people take computer, what do they?
Yes.
Those one you go with a portfolio, you carry all the jobs that you want to display. The only thing I was able to display was my project. Final year project. Tentatively, the company, they are looking for architects that have experience in hospitality.
Wow.
So that is how I got it. I showed them. I was seeing them because, in those days, I don't know if they do it. When they invite architects, they actually advertise. So they advertise something architects. They are interviewing them one by one. I walked into the office about 2 weeks to that time, and they told me, oh, we are doing interview for architect in 2 weeks time. So I didn't even see that since I didn't read paper. But this time, when we got there, a lot of us will be waiting. When everybody will come out. So you are going in one by one, they have the panel. They are all expert. There was no black. They are Jews, they are Israelis that own the company. They call it HLP.
HFP.
HLP.
They do blocks and things like that. Construction.
They are the one that build the Dolphin Estate. They build a Butemeta. If you know a Butemeta, we're heading down from the bridge. You see some high rises. HLP built this place. HLP developed it to that kind of city. So you can see, but those things they were not big enough.
They used to have some factory down the side.
That was the land, where's the movie? This is where their factory was. Where we are sitting, these shops. The whole of these shops, because that shop is a big one. Sure. If you go there, but the whole of this place were their yard. They call it construction yard. That's where they produce their cars. So many times when they are doing some interview, some of the interviews that come out, the normal what did they ask you? What did we want to know? What are they?
So that you can prepare your mind ahead.
Everybody. So we start seeing all those people. Even before the interview, some of us were looking at each other portfolio. I discovered I was not in that shit. I don't have experience. I just left school about years. We have people who have worked for about 4 years, 5 years, different drawing. Well, to make the thing, I was employed. Tentatively, the company actually got a contract to build an hospital complex. So the architect, the chief architect, who happened to be the Jewish man, advised the company that we need architects that have experience in hospital design, and they are not common. That is how it comes. So they started the project. They created a new place for me instead of the same. No, they employ more. They employ about 8 other architects to join. We have about 10 draftsmen. We use draftsmen those days. So everyone of the very good place that we should do to join. And I was doing that project as if it's the last thing. Because I've been staff of drawing. And I have a company that I was not even interested in their salary because their money was not up to what I was creating.
Well, please, when you offer the opportunity to practice what you know best to.
And I showed the man, the expatriate, the white people have some mentality. When they see somebody that is good, they keep you. It's like studying. After about 2 months, we are supposed to do presentation to the owner of that hospital. And the MP was like, by the time I finished the presentation, he cannot even believe himself. Because it's something I've done for about 3 years to prepare for my master. My master is just coming here. No, I've taken a lot of this. So the whole thing was impressed, and that's where I know that I might stay long.
In this
because
company.
he told me, he said he has not seen Nigerians that they don't supervise before him. When I was working, most of all the people they feel by around 5, most of all the architects have left. I'm the one in charge. I will not leave that place until 10. And the MD, he comes in the morning, the first person. He might be the last person to leave. He was just a small company, maybe about 3 times this old. So he monitor everybody. So he started monitoring, who is this guy that is working as if they don't understand where I was coming from. But I was enjoying it, all the books, everything, and the hospital. Anyway, they built the hospital. The same hospital complex is what I use for my NIA professional registration. Because it must be design, there must be implementation, everything about it. When you are going to Ibadan, they call it Alomaja or something. It's the Aramed Medical Center. It's on the right before getting to Ibadan. There used to be one Ibadan man that is a millionaire.
What's the name of the
hospital? But the Akindele is the owner of that hospital.
What's the name of the
Aramed Medical Center.
Aramed.
Yes. That's on the right. Before you get to this. So it was big. In fact, we built phase 1. It's supposed to be phase 2. It's phase 1 they did. The man wanted his daughter, who happened to be a doctor, to be able to run the hospital. They run it somehow, but somehow. Family issue. So it was a very big one. So that was what I did. Now, just a fast tracking so that we will not stay. After the whole project, after the thing started, the man decided to move me that no, we must stay in this company. And I was enjoying it because if you know the Jewish, the Israelis, they are, they like to exploit people. If an Israeli give you 1,000 naira as a salary, you will work 10,000. No, because they are working, they are very clever. So I was working with the company, and the period we came into the company, things started changing. That's when they got the document state. I was part of those who designed that one to do their team. So it was in the process the man asked, am I a registered architect? I said, no. For me to register, I must spend about 2 years under a supervised architect to do this. And he told me, whatever it takes you, I should let you know. So the company paid for my registration, for all the seminars, for the exams, everything. So 1991, I did the exam and I passed. So I got my seal. After that, 1990, they decided to come and do Victoria Garden City. I was with them. So I was like a team. I was the main architect that need to sign end of the program. So I was retained. And we started Victoria Garden. But to do Victoria Garden City, they have to introduce computer. They are among the first company to introduce computer into architecture. So the man brought an Israeli from US, who is an architect and also a programmer, to come ahead. So he taught us, we learned the computer in the US. And with that one, we were able to do it in free VGC, land, the details, so many things. That time there were no much computer, so that gave me some advantage. When I got registered, I've already have partnership with two of my friends. So when I was still working, we have an office, we have some draftsmen that we are teaching computer, we give them to me. So in 1992, I decided to resign. But they proposed me, oh, you are now a supervisor at Federal Department. But it wasn't there because there was already a lot of. When you are coming, you will see something over there. They call it Olawunmi Taofeek.
Yes.
That is the dancer Okoya. Yes. I designed those things.
Wow.
The whole of the house. But
Wow.
the people will say wow, but there was no money.
Wow.
But the reality was that I was having opportunity because of the computer. In fact, it was the computer generated thing that attracted the man to me. He has a friend that I designed something for. That one had a Peninsula restaurant. Probably this way, there was something over there called a Peninsula. The man owned that and he was like my brother friend. So I designed something for him. And you know, with the computer, A4, it wasn't even a big one. And he got a time that introduced me to Okoya. I made some proposal. Man, oh, this is something else. Agbaje art. And that is when we started the whole thing. Very serious struggling. It wasn't an easy thing. I drove myself. Twice I dozed off on this street. Dozed off when I was driving.
Wow.
So because I was working and I still have to work in the night to make money. The company I was working with have project. Doing that project. When I get home, I sleep for about 2 hours. I'm already doing another thing. So there were a lot of stress on one day. So those periods were on with VGC. So the period I resigned, the MD refused. He doesn't want me to. Yes. So he does say, they are practical people. They say, okay, no, what's going to happen? You are still a staff, but you will be a consultant. So I have trouble. I'm a staff, but I'm a consultant. All the time that I have some office, say, you know that I have office somewhere. The office will be running, just deliver my job. Just like what people are doing nowadays with all this offline, people can still work off. Long time I've been doing that. When I have a project for the office now, even when I get home, I finish it up. By the following morning, I'm already taking it to him. So he knows that I do his job also.
Quality.
Very deliverable, but there is also, and they are more interested you are delivering whatever it is, more about it. So I was able to stay with them for long until 2000 when they started selling land. In those days, they check people sell land. They designed Victoria Garden City as a special estate for the most even special one because they sell the whole house. Computer, they don't sell the and they have the whole of the space as a precast. So those periods were awesome. We are there. I was signing anyone, drawing their doing. Even when I finish it, they have to do some approval. I'm the one that will sign, stamp, and make my money. So by the time they said selling land, I requested for the man to let me go. So I decided to have my own, but I will retain the consultants. And he was glad to do that. So get design, pay all some attachment, and I'm still a consultant, so I'm part of the DC, which I still do up to today.
Wow.
What they did, they did the estate. Now the estate have been taken over by the resident association. Before the HLP controlled the estate, they still have maintenance, they have land. So if you are to do any drawing, any building in the VGC, you will have to submit your drawing to VGC because we have regulation, we have control. You cannot just build anything. So it was the VGC control one that they are now going to give you approval before you can get approval from Lagos State. And it's recognized by Lagos State. So Lagos State building control will not collect your drawing until they see later. So those ones are the one to see it.
Wow.
Till today. So those are all the advantages. So I came out in 2000 to really fully take control of my life. And I thank God because the opportunity came. Most of those people who bought land in BGC were not telling me. So I was fully more involved in residentials. It took more than 10 years. I didn't have any other job than working in BGC.
Wow.
So with time, when you design for them, because I'm an architect, so they know you do and supervise. So I moved into construction too. So we start doing design and build. So I have engineer, I have all this thing. So we can't put in. We have the company that build. We have the company that do the design, but we still run in the same place. So gradually we start construction. Mostly 90% more residential. So in BGC, I did so many of those. So those are the things we are doing. Only few government projects. I'm not a politician, but I have them. There are friends, there are many friends who are there, commissioner everywhere, they are all friends, even brothers. So that is how it is. So briefly, that is like this. Yes.
That is very fantastic. Let's ask some follow-up questions before we introduce ourselves so that we can really learn from this repertoire of experience. I saw quite a number of high-rise buildings. I think like one or two by your the images.
Look, we can look at it there. Like I said, we were involved in so many government projects. So I try not to go for government projects. Briefly, when I was leaving HMP, some of my clients that I was designing with me, when I left, I do design and build. So I have to beg one of my clients that I begged him that I want to build the house. And I had to listen because the house is just straight. When you enter BGC, it's the first thing you see. Wow. When you enter the residential, BGC has two gates. The first control, which control most of the commercial area. But when you enter the residential one, the roundabout, the land is facing the place. Very young sharp, did a design for him. Right from the first 1 week that we met, he actually have a design for that he want to build somewhere in the Kogi before somebody diverted his attention to this place. So when he came, we were discussing that he's a medical doctor, that you know what I want is this, but I have a design of what the land is different because his land is more like a trapezium. It's a triangular. It's not a straight line. That is what attracts me to. Because it's not a rectangular. It's a corner pit, but it's more like a triangle, just this good shape like that. And that land, you have the road here, you have road here, the roundabout is this. So anybody coming in, you get. So what I told him that time, that no, hold on, give me your brief. What do you want? Let me go and do my sketch. Then I'll bring my sketch, then you bring his
own initial plan.
Later I think, well, totally everything in consider that culture, but it's become something different. And we start. So what happened was that because the guy is a medical doctor, but he really want to do architecture. And his father insisted that he should do medicine. Those 8 students, they can do anything that they can. That he was not happy, but he did medicine for his father. He's not practicing up to now. He practiced for about 8 years. And started doing different things, and that one gave him crazy money. Money comes in. Number one is doing it to modeling, doing some. But before all these MC people come, he was the one involved. This beach, they do football presentation, all those. Before people know about mine, he was already promoting television and he was making me money. So when I told him I want to construct, I said, no, you want to see what I've built. You want to see. I've not built anything in BGC at that time. No single building there because I was just about leaving the company and they are just selling now. But luckily for me, I did something for a friend, to a young guy, somewhere in this land, that's how. That's what we do here. And they are doing finishing. That have swimming pool. One guy that worked in my company, they were able to spend money. So I took him there on that Saturday with his wife. And he was, this is good. We didn't find, the client was not, because there was no phone. There was nothing like a mobile phone. I didn't even tell the owner of the place, I'm bringing somebody. I just confidently I took. So by the time we are through, we went through from the entrance, we have the service entrance through the kitchen at the back, we went upstairs. He was impressed with what he saw. And we were coming out through the kitchen, the owner of the house came. He was wondering, because that guy has fun, all these flashing messages, artists. He said they enjoy life that way. So my client was still worried, what of this architect Agbaje that brought somebody else. He was still admiring the car. That's when we came in. I mean, we came out of the place, so we saw us like, I said, we thank God. The owner of the house is here, so I introduced. That one just finished the job. I said, no, Agbaje is a very nice person, he's honest, he's this. In fact, the man, by the time we left, the wife was saying that, if you have been that we have told you, it's like, I've told the man, that somebody is coming. So, but it shows, I like what I told some of my colleagues. Anything you are doing at all, you must be good in what you are doing, but another important thing is that you must be honest person. Let them see you as honest person. Let them see you as a direct person. I don't deceive clients. You want to collect my money, I tell you, this is what I work on. But to take things that doesn't belong to me, is out. I do all my best to give the client the best. But the more important thing is that they must see you as somebody that has integrity. And that is what has been done. That is what I use. So I created a system that all my clients, I must be their friend. You cannot finish a project without fighting. They cannot pay you. You have this. I don't like this. Whatever we might be having, I tell them, I want to finish it. So most of the time, when the client comes, they sit down like this, they are putting as a listen. I want to make a friendship with you. I don't want just like a client. I want to finish this project, then we can call. One day, if I pass through the place, I can easily branch. If I'm having somebody, I can tell anybody, oh, you saw that house, I designed it. Go and look at it. So that it's not that it comes out, that architect is a bad man or anything. So that is extremely important for anything. Whatever you are doing, be a very honest person. Whatever. Because your profession, your intelligence, your creativity can destroy you. Can be destroyed if you are not a honest person. And it's very difficult recently to find people like this. Because of the situation. But I tell them, even for me too, some of my friends, some of the young people, I know this thing is that the country is so tough, everything, we cannot do it. But when it was easy, you thought you are the one that do it. But that is one of the whole thing. Everything, all my achievement is not me. It's not my thing. That I've been there all the time. So when I have success coming up, I attribute everything to me. Because even my life doesn't belong to me. Nobody has a guarantee that he can wake himself up to follow God.
Yes.
It's only God that can make you. So when things are tough, it's part of the challenges of life. When it was easy that I made it, it's not me. It's the one that made it. The time that it was easy, people have been. There are some people that cannot make it. It was hard for them, it was tough. So believe anytime when there is a hard time, those are the trying time. And what is the trying time teaching us? It's just for you to go through those challenges and get higher. Almighty God tests anybody. It's just like what you do yourself. For them to get promoted, what happens? They have to be tested.
Yes.
So test of life is also one research. That's it. Okay.
Okay, I think we've really thought at large with respect to practice. But let's come back a little to education.
Yes.
So that students can really learn from your experience. what's your observation of the current state of the education of architecture in Nigeria in relation to what is going on globally?
Globally, not even globally, in relation to what we have been experiencing, I realized, as I said, because I was not really trained in Nigeria, but even my training in Nigeria doesn't take away what has been happening during our own time, because I have friends, I have colleagues that are also students in this country. So what I realized is that the whole system, there was already a go down, and everything is going down seriously. And it's not about what can I say? A lot of time people play, oh, this government, they are not from the whole thing right from the ground, right from the starting line. You see that we are losing so much, not only in architecture, in all aspects of education, all aspects, right from the primary, secondary, coming to the higher institutions, there is already serious standard, low standard. Before you came, I was trying to talk to them that architecture is not, my mother say and my father say I go and do architecture. It's a passion. That is why you can see architectural students working night, because you have to have the passion for it. So you will not feel the rigor. It's not a profession it's not for anybody at all. You must be a special student to be able to be there. And many times, if you don't have the passion, many times, a lot of them, they cannot be an architect. That is why majority of architects are not rich. Are not rich because they put so much settlement and they are not trained to be a businessman. I told few of my colleagues, there are some young architects that will cancel him and do all this. We have started training them that don't put your own focus only on architecture. See how do we become creative. Creating things out of the whole concept. Because I'm an architectural student, it doesn't mean that I must be designing the house. I told someone, I don't design all the high rises you see, some of them are some of the proposals. Only few are built. We will go and look at it. There, some of them are renovation too. But my core area that I really got some success from is more on residential. Because by faith I found myself in the place where there is a need to go. Like I told you, for someone to work within a year, 10 years, without leaving that environment, people don't know. I was getting them. It's not that I got so much hard money, but I was comfortable and I enjoy doing it. So the whole reason why this thing is failing, we have architects now. Most of the students that are coming, you have to train them. You need to start there because the basic things they need to know from the school, they are not getting it. You know, an architectural student, in those days, I also participate in interview or doing some interview for architects that are doing exams, professional exams. You cannot imagine when I ask an architect, what they come as teaching. These are something that the second year students, it's something you must know. We have books. We don't even have any computer that they are lucky now that if you are more interested in knowing, you can download. We are carrying books. We have architect data that is big like this. Most of the time, I can tell you some pages where the steps, what is the riser thread, how do you do? I can tell you that I'll go to page so because it's like a Bible. For your design, anytime you are designing, size of the door, some architects don't know how do you open the door to, where do you open the door to, is it right or left, how do you, a lot of complicated. So the education system, now, the Nigerian Institute of Architecture, I belong to what they call another group of architecture, Association of Consulting Architects. We try to create, I was part of those who tried to form this. Try to create job for the consult because we saw that time that the NIA have been having some challenges. We have a lot of civil servants who are the control, and their thinking is different from those who are practicing. No, if I don't get my money, I will not eat. If you are a civil servant, every time, end of the month, you will still get salary. So we had different, so we found that the ECAN has been working on, we have been trying to create a system with some universities. So that's some of the aspects. Practice is a little bit different from just the normal theory of the school. When it comes to practical, even for me, I told some of my colleagues, I was lucky to work with a construction company because most of my drawings have been naturalized. Most of the residential houses, when we go to site every day, we have to check to know the door. It's different from architects that do some design, they have not been to that site. Some of them design, the client collect the seed, they will be doing the work on them. So some of the young architects might not even know the differences. But he has all this thing, when he has them, can tell you from here the size of the door, the bedroom needs this one needs this one. I can easily do that too. So the educational system have been, in fact, when I was telling someone that the thing have started longer, right from the basics. Right from the, there is a school my daughter finished in ISL, University of Lagos International School that they have. When she was in the third year, we were there when they have this, that one of the parents brought, in fact, the mother brought somebody to come and beat the teacher.